Afternoon all, how are we doing? Afternoon Diamond, afternoon Kenfolk. Kenfolk. Right. Busy old morning this morning for the yen and the US dollar. Big strength on the US dollar this afternoon, big strength on the yen, this morning. So we've had lots of movement. We've got ADRs across the board on the yen pairs. All yen pairs have hit and US dollar CAD's just hit as well. So Aussie dollar yen has hit. No real levels of support to look at there of any description, really. We are heading into this. This isn't really a propulsion gap. There's no accumulation before it, so it's just an area of strength. But it's coming out of there. The yen's having a little bit of a breather at the moment. The CAD yen is at a beautiful spot. So this is one which is worth having a look at if you want to take a yen long. I just posted this in the Telegram group. Really nice support here on the CAD yen. I'm long on the euro yen at the moment, so I'm not going to take this because I don't want to overexpose myself on the yen. But really nice support. We've got these wicks to the downside here, which was a double bottom. We've got tweezer tops there, and then obviously this low came down and swept that liquidity. So, but overall, this entire area here held 4 times last time we were here. This is also ADR today. So we're extended to its normal average daily range at support after having an absolute collapse. 2 ADR days in a row on the yen and no breathers. Massively extended on the RSI on the hourly. The 4 hourly is extended. The 15-minute is extended. The 5-minute is extended. It's just absolutely exhausted. So the reason I like this is because obviously we're at a support level as well. So CAD yen looks like a really good long. I'm already in, as I say, euro yen long. So I'm not going to take this because it's going to expose me on the yen twice, and I don't want to, just in case the yen is just going to carry on like a steam train today. But all very extended. So CAD yen looks good. Euro yen I'm long. I've just taken a second position, which I just posted at 125 ADR. Reason being, we're hitting this accumulation before the break started, this propulsion gap. Yeah, so we got this push down. That was the final push. We had a reversal in, accumulation, break, and that's where the move started. So this is where the buyers have stepped back in again. Whether or not this is going to hold or whether they're going to come and test this low, I don't know. But even if they do test this low, they've got to push hard to get to 175 ADR today. So a pullback before they do that would be more logical. So for me, I'm watching this area there. And if we can get back up into there, I'll exit. So that is good. Euro yen, I'm watching all yen. Pound Swiss, pound yen. Massively extended, not quite down to support yet. So that's got a little bit further to go, about another quarter of an ADR or so. New Zealand dollar yen, same story, roughly about a quarter of an ADR down to that low. And US dollar yen has obviously just got sky below. So US dollar is massively strong today, but we haven't got ADR on this yet. Because the US dollar is really strong today. So obviously you get something that's really strong, like the yen, pushing against something that's really strong, which is the US dollar at the moment, you get a movement, accumulation. And as you can see, the US dollar is having a very nice day. Not so much against the Swiss franc, because the Swiss franc is also strong. So pound US dollar, pound US dollar's come down quite hard. Euro US dollar coming down quite hard. I took the Euro Swiss this morning, just got out of that one. So I got out of that one this morning, just now. Yeah, there you go. That's where we are. Can't see any news really today of any interest, so nothing particularly exciting. 3 o'clock, we've got, so in half an hour, we've got the University of Michigan sentiment. So the consumer sentiment poll, which is basically surveying 500 people and ask a load of questions about current and economic conditions. So the reason I don't like this, and I don't know why the banks do, but the reason I don't like this is because the intelligence level of the 500 people you ask surely must be a massive factor in the results of this. If you ask a load of Hicksville rednecks who literally hunt animals and cook them over a barbecue about economic conditions, you're going to get a completely different answer to if you ask 500 people from Wall Street. So I'm not quite sure how they pick them, but anyway, the market does tend to pay attention to it for some reason. I don't know why. It's a leading indicator. It does go onto the institutional scorecards. So I don't know. I don't quite know why, but they do. Anyway, so that's coming out at 3 o'clock. So we might get a fairly quiet open for the New York, but we'll see. Morning again, Brian. Not afternoon yet. No, afternoon for me. So this morning, had a lovely opening range breakout on the DAX this morning. So we broke out beautifully. We go back and watch this morning's live room. Uncanny how accurate I am sometimes. Everybody can say that sometimes. This morning I was uncannily accurate. I said if we break out of here, we're going to touch that area. If we touch that area, I would expect us to put in a down day today. Why, oh, why don't I listen to myself? So we broke out. We went straight up into that resistance, which I drew on from this morning. And at that point, I was $585 in profit. So what did I do? I moved to break even as we got up here. And I got out of the positions at break even with a $70 profit. I then waited for this pullback and entered long again because I'm letting the EA trade. I'm not going to intervene with it. And then it smashed down and lost me $500. I'm now short here at the opening range low. So since I've got in short, we've literally just sat there for 2 hours and done nothing. So all I've done this morning is not pay attention to myself and take the $600, $500 profit, whatever I had there, and allowed myself to lose 500 and sitting in drawdown. So yeah, good one, Lee. I'm letting the EA run. The whole point is I want to let the EA do it for me. Trying to take myself out of the bias because my bias is wrong a lot of the time. So my bias is also right a lot of the time. You know, it's a 50-50 shot, isn't it? But that one was a pretty obvious one this morning. It's exactly what my analysis said this morning, didn't it, on the DAX? I said, we've had 10 days up. What I reckon we're going to do today is double top and put in a bear candle. What have we done? Pretty much to the pip, exactly what I said. Anyway, if I listen to myself, I'd be a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. So don't listen to me. Right. So that's where we are at the moment. So ADRs, we've got loads, obviously, but they're all yen and a bit of US. We had our first monthly hit, which is the Swiss yen. Obviously, the reason this is hit is because we've got a massively strong yen at the moment. And we've had this issue with the Swiss. Oh, wrong one. I've had this issue with the Swiss franc, which is obviously this is the perfect storm. The Swiss franc went over 250 ADR down yesterday on that news, and the yen powered up over 100% ADR. So this obviously move, the entire month has been put in 2 days, which is an absolute. I mean, 4 hours nicely extended and embedded down there. The daily's gone straight back to being extended down there as well. So huge move from a weekly perspective. Look at the Swiss yen. I mean, there isn't one actually. I was just going to say this is probably one of the biggest candles we've had. It is the biggest candle we've had for what, 3 years. So this is the largest loss week for the Swiss franc for ages, and obviously with the yen, it's massively powered up. So from a mean reversion perspective, this thing's got to be getting ready for a bit of a breather. We're at unknown territory here. We haven't had a collapse this large for a long time. So, but if you look at a lot of these yens, I mean, they are all falling out of bed quite sharp, aren't they? But the Swiss is the biggest. So, be interesting as a potential mean reversion. This Swiss yen. We're only on the 13th of the month. So we'll be looking for something along this line. Yeah. You know, if you use fibs, whether you like fibs or not, they're good for gauging, you know, as a worst case scenario in a very strong trend, we will typically get at least a 38 pullback. The reason I don't like fib is because you can never tell and it's never 100% accurate, but it gives you a rough idea where we should be heading, which is somewhere up in here. So you need to wait for some signs of strength, obviously. With this one, you know, there's no signs of strength at all at the moment. But when it does get some, it's got a good shot. So that'll be a really good trade when it kicks in. That I have to say, that's probably one of the steepest drops I have seen on an hourly chart for quite some time. You know, when you do get that mean reversion back, it's, you know, when we talk about the elastic band theory, that's about as stretched as I've seen anything. So snap back on it's going to be pretty quick, I think. Afternoon, Luke, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy Friday. Don't know if it's your birthday or not, but anyway, if it is, happy birthday. Happy Friday. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Market's just opened. So let's watch the NAS. So strong push up into there. Obviously, the Nasdaq's come down very hard pre-market because obviously the US dollar. So, you know, US dollar goes up, indexes come down. So we've had a big, strong movement to the downside on this US dollar strength. So we need to see really if that is going to continue this afternoon. We've hit ADR, US CAD. Obviously, US Swiss and US yen is not really much of a tell because these are both, you know, one is massively strong. The other one's doing some strength at the moment because it's had a week day as well, a week as well. So difficult to tell if we're going to continue with any of this strength as to what we're going to get this afternoon. But we do tend to get trend days on Friday quite often. So we will see. Ken, are you familiar with Bubbles and Crashes, lad? Never heard of him. Is that a person? Were you saying, have I ever heard of Bubbles and Crashes and you're calling me lad? In which case, might want to do an age check. I should probably be calling you lad. I don't know. No, I haven't. Don't know what it is. So DAX is pushing up again. We just filled that propulsion gap. Market conditions, bubbles and crashes. I don't know. No, there's 1,000 things. I can guarantee you 100% it'll be something else as well. It's just another name for something else, bubbles and crashes. Long NASDAQ. There's all sorts of ways of measuring market condition. Some people use bull, you know, bull and bear. So you have bull quiet, bear quiet, all that sort of stuff. You know, it doesn't really matter. Pick one. I use RSI for market condition. I use ADR for market condition. Bubbles and crashes can be used for whatever that is, but I don't use it. Never heard of it. In 14 years, if I haven't heard of it, it's rubbish. Chuck it. If it's any good, it's probably come on my radar. Right. In long on the NAS, just pulling back at the highs. So if the opening range break to the high fails, we shall shoot out the shorts. Move that for a minute. So there's loads of RSI extensions as well at the moment. All pretty much the same as we looked at this morning. And let's have a quick look at sentiment, see what the sentiment's done. 84.59. Let's give that a refresh. 77.52. Okay, so they are starting to pull out of their shorts on the euro US dollar. So this is basically everybody, we've had a massive short on there, haven't we? On the euro US dollar. What's happened today? Yeah, it's calming down. So we've got some movement starting. So some of these guys that have been shorting the hell out of this all got liquidated. They've shortened it again and they're starting to exit now and are starting to flip long because it's been going up. So as we continue to get that movement starting to go the other way, we should get that pullback in, which means some strength on that US dollar finally. But loads and loads and loads of RSI extensions, but all of these, as you can see, are mainly yen based. Aussie yen, 4 hour, hourly, all massively extended. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is extended. US dollar yen has just hit its weekly range. It is Friday, so we'll give it that. Push up to the highs on the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. So that's nicely extended on the 4 hour now as well. Again, looking for shorts on that. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is a decent sell. We've got COT on our side. We haven't got the sentiment on our side at the moment, but we have got COT on our side. Fundamentals are pretty mixed on it at the moment, but potentially that's a good short up there. Last short was here, which is the one I took, but it took ages. So again, that was an ADR hit to the upside and RSI extension, which is why I took it and got out in here. So again, if we're going to continue this nice pattern of pullbacks, get in and get out down there. CAD yen and Swiss yen lit up across the board. Yeah, okay. CAD yen's actually gone straight through that support. So and Swiss yen as well. So be careful with this CAD yen, but what I would say is if we break back above that level, potentially that might be a good long from there. So might want to give that a bit, but we will see. You can send it over to me, Ken, if you want. Send it in Telegram or whatever, but I have to say I'm 100% shut to anything because I have my strategy and it works. So I don't really want to start flying off in other directions at this time of my life. But send it over. I'm happy to have a look at it and I'll tell you what it's a replication of, because everything is. There's so little you can do in the market. Everything is a copy of or another way of looking at the same thing. But if it makes it easier for you, then use it. Yeah. Some people like the stochastic in oscillator. I like the RSI. Some people like the ADX. Some people like the MACD. They all do exactly the same thing. They oscillate with price. They lag price and oscillate and show you where it's been. So it's all the same stuff. Long on the DAX, I think. I'm out of the DAX now. I'm out of that now as well. Oh, don't tell me I've got the EA set up with the max loss. God. I have as well. I don't want to do that. I get today up. Never mind. Well, I've missed it now. Got in. So I'm either going to blow this or I'm going to pass it today again. I'm getting to the point now with these evaluations where I just can't be bothered anymore, to be honest. It's getting now. I've done too many. I'm trying to do too many with the same strategy, and it's doing my head in. I'm not concentrating at all at the moment. I really need to refocus myself. So that's going to be a $600 loss. I want to go short. I think somebody's recommended putting a setting on the EA for only taking longs and shorts, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm thinking, yeah, I agree with it. There are days I only want to be short on this today. The US dollar's going through the roof. DAX has been pushing for 10 days straight. I do not want to be long in the DAX. So I think there are certain days when you just think, I just don't really want to push it in that direction, and you need a button which says, do not get me in short. What I want to do is short the DAX. There's no control on it at the moment, apart from obviously using the one in MT4, which is already there. But never mind. Anyway, so I'll either blow that today or I won't. Looks like it's already going to blow in this candle. Never mind. I'll ignore that today. Opening range breakout, only take the south today, I would suggest. Sorry. God, this week, do you know what? I want January over. This has been the worst start to a month I've had, and it's because I'm trying to focus on prop, and prop 100% unfocuses your trading brain and focuses you into gambling, and I hate it. I hate trying to pass these evaluations because I know how to trade. I've been doing it for a long time, but I have to split my brain between you stupid gambling idiot and rationality, and it's so difficult to do. It drives me up the wall. It really does. I really need to do this off stream so that I can do it how I want to do it properly. But anyway, rant over. Could you use the ORB on Forex pairs? No, because there's no open for Forex. There isn't one. You can try. I mean, back test it, Brian. I've back tested it. And I can't find an open basically in FX. So if you look at a Forex pair, look at this, right? The volatility, the volume, bang. This is the open, bang. This is the open. And it's exactly the same time. This candle is always 2 to 3 times bigger than anything else you've seen. Basically, which is what happens every single day. If you look at FX, there is nothing. There's nothing you will find on a daily basis where at 10 o'clock, for example, it goes mental. Yeah. So this day, the move started on 11:15. This day, the move started at 10:10. This day, didn't really move, did it? That's not uncommon in the stock market as well. This day we started moving at 10:30. This day we started moving at 10:05. That's probably 9:55. So you see what I mean? There's no real this goes at this particular time. So the range is difficult to predict. The reason the cash balance works is because when the stock market opens, there's a bell, right? So it's like you're standing on a start line. No one can go until that bloke goes ding, ding, ding. Sorry, they've got this bloke trying to spam in the group. Shane, are you in here? Just stop posting P&Ls. Unless you're going to post analysis of every trade you've taken, I don't know even if you're in here, but if you're in here, unless you're going to post every analysis of every trade you've taken, just don't. Got some bloke keeps posting this. You know, you get those screenshots where someone posts their phone with their P&L scrolling up and down. He posted that saying, I've taken all these with a market reverse alert indicator. There's about 50 trades on gold, all about 10 pips away. They won't take on the reverse alert indicator. That's just spam. And he's put his name all over it. So basically, please let me manage your account is what he's saying, I think. But we'll see what he comes up with. He's just about to post his spam. So we'll see what spam comes up. If you're in here, I'd stop doing it, Shane, because I'm just going to kick you out. Yeah, as I was saying, there isn't really an open. So the advantage of the cash balance is we know at what time everything's going to go mental, don't we? With the Forex pairs, we can't pick a 5 or 10 minute range where everything's going to go really good. Definitely not, Lee. It's really live results with the market reversal assistance. I'm legit. I'm not a spammer. Let me just block him. Sorry, Shane. I haven't got time to deal with you at the moment. He's not interested. Now we are going long, look. Typical. So yeah, I don't think you'll make it work, but try it. Back test it. See if you can find a time that is kind of universal. You know, looking at the 15-minute chart on CAD Yen, if you went from, I would say probably 10 o'clock, which is 8 a.m., the market moves somewhere between 8 and 10 in the morning in the UK is when the London session kicks off. People have a London open, but there's no bell that rings at London to make stuff go. So I would say pick maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes and pick that as a range. But the problem with the London Open, I find, is you quite often will stop hunt, which is what they, the London breakout strategy is. That's the London breakout strategy. But a lot of the London breakout strategy traders will wait for the breakout, and then if it closes back within, that's when they start trading the opposite direction. London breakout today would have worked beautifully, wouldn't it? But other days it won't. So you've just got to try and pick a time, I think, and test it in FX. But the test that I did, I only really tested, to be fair, a 15 to half an hour range from 10 o'clock. So I haven't tested it thoroughly, but if you can find one, it'd be really good. And breakout, at the end of the day, all the opening range breakout EA is a breakout EA. So it is literally just taking a time period and picking the high and low of it and taking that break. So it's an accumulation break EA. That's an accumulation break. So, if you'd have picked from 9:45 to 1 o'clock, or say from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on the chart, you'd have got a beautiful one there, wouldn't you? And it's all about managing your risk and your trailing stops when the breakouts happen. So it happens, obviously, as we know, on FX all the time. Breakouts happen all the time. But then you get these things, look, where you just get a sideways session with inside Asia and you're dead. And New York inside London. It just doesn't move as violently most of the time as the indices do, which is why it sort of suits them better. But give it a go is all I can say. So on these days, Price Action Toolkit, do it manually. Yeah, exactly. I know. I've passed so many evaluations trading with the Price Action Toolkit on my own, no problem at all. Like this morning, I think the trouble is with me at the moment. What I'm doing is I'm trying to prove concept with this EA, and I know the concept is absolutely fine. What I'm doing is that I said to myself this morning, that's $600, take it, because it's going to bounce, and I didn't do it. If I hadn't have been doing a live stream and I hadn't taken that in the live stream this morning and said I would have done that on my own account, and I didn't because I'm on here. That's the problem. I've got this Jekyll and Hyde thing going on at the moment where I know what I want to do, but I can't do it because of this. So I'm going to run some props behind the scenes, and I'm going to do it how I want it done, because I want to use this semi-automated. Like I say, I want to be shorting the DAX today. But today, this, where the price is at the moment for me on the DAX right now, does not suit the opening range breakout EA. What I think is going to happen is we're not going to crack that high and we're going to pull back this way. So what I want to do is, with the price action toolkit, I want to be sitting here ready to get in under there. Yeah, that's what me wants to do as a trader right now. But obviously I'm trying to run this. But, you know, I might be totally wrong and this thing might fly now and make 2.5 grand today. Why did that close out those trades there? Oh, it's the wrong chart. I was going to say, where's all my trades gone? That's the Dow. Wrong chart. Yeah, I need to run some prop in the background because this is the whole plan was to have different strategies running on this on different accounts to test different ones, and I just keep mucking about with them. I need to just leave them all alone and let them go. I know the edge is there. I just can't leave it. That's my whole problem. I've never been able to leave things alone. This is why I've never been able to get EAs to work properly 100%, because I can't leave things alone. I see a trade and I see 11 and I think that's going to stop. I can't help it. I've got itchy fingers. That's true about prop. Really have to focus and stick to it. Yeah. Yeah, you got prop. You've got to over leverage on prop really to pass quickly, and unfortunately that means focus, and that's the thing I lose when I come in here. Prop challenges kill your ability to think rationally, mainly because time limits. Yeah, time limits. This is it. You know, that's why I kind of blew the other one this week. Was I was getting impatient with it. I've been running it for 10 days. I'm like, I could have passed this in 5. I'm used to passing in a few days. Like intense scalping with the price action toolkit. That's what I'm used to doing. I'm used to being in, out, bang, 1.5%, in, out, bang, 1.5%, 2%, 3%, bang, done. And then scaling back on the risk. And that's what I'm used to doing. I'm not used to having it automatically taking ages. But that's what this is designed to do. It's the whole head and heart thing, isn't it? Still pushing on the yens. So all pushing down. Euro yen back down to 125. A little bit of rejection down there at the moment. CAD is still pushing, so that level, watching this level. If we get some rejection down here, I think we've got a very good chance of a pullback. Little scalp trade this morning, but this afternoon, but really need to get a reversal on that. DAX has just put a reversal alert in. We're struggling though on the US. God, how to turn a winning day into a losing day, eh? Right, so looking at sentiment, obviously we are starting to see people piling out of the US now that were flipped on the wrong side. So we might start to get some movement. New Zealand dollar CAD still not changed. That is still the buy of the century at the moment, that New Zealand dollar CAD. Just stuck. Totally stuck. So remember I said this morning, this is the level we want to be watching. Just rejected it again today. So I'm really like the idea of a breakout and retest of these highs. So just had the reversal alert on this at the end of London. I wasn't paying attention. just had the 15-minute, which is kind of retesting at the moment. So it's not far away, but that level there, it's holding very, very, very well. We've got retail completely offside on it at the moment on the New Zealand dollar CAD. They're all short. So yeah, got COT positioning all long. We got fundamentals. It's just looking, it's just a brilliant long. It's just not able to get anywhere at the moment for some reason. I'm considering Surge Trader, single evaluation firm. They claim real life funds after passing. Surge Trader, not heard of that one. Have I? Have I? Twenty to 1 leverage, so it's all aimed at scalpers. 8% max trailing drawdown, so the drawdown's tighter than all the other companies as well. They are way more expensive. Wow. $700 for a 100K account. That's a lot. Nearly double. Not quite, but it's at least 50% more expensive than all the other firms. So no time limits. So yeah, I mean, basically what they're doing is they're tightening up your risk allowance ever so slightly, charging you 50% more. 10% target. So yeah, I mean, target is 2% more as well. So you've got a higher target, lower drawdown, and more expensive. But you can pass in 1 day on one level. So there's your advantage, is if you have a lucky day, stroke run, stroke couple of days, you're funded really fast. But it's going to cost you. You shouldn't hit that because you've got a 5% max daily. So obviously, again, if you leverage yourself at 1%, take 5%, 5 trades a day and lose 5% in a day, if you have 2 losing days on the trot, you've blown it. That's typical prop, isn't it? That's normal. So not bad, but just expensive. That's the only thing. I mean, you look at my Forex funds, or E8, it's an awful lot cheaper. But then you've got multiple stages over a minimum of 10 days. So a 100K account is going to cost you $400 instead of $7. It's actually, if you're taking, once you've taken one of these, if you take a retest, it only costs you $449. So it's actually only $450. You only overpay this once. Every time you take a second evaluation, you pay less. Michigan sentiment's just come out. Should have been watching that, shouldn't I? Not paying attention. We are going long. This looks dangerous. It's a fake move. 64, so positive US. So everybody's a little bit more confident in the economy and what's going on than everybody else than they were. So that's not bad. So yeah, Surge Trader, they're not bad. Just obviously, you know, like anything, do your due diligence on it. You've got to standard profit share is only 75%. All right, so there's another negative. You only get 75 profit share, not 90. Up to 90. So how do you get up to 90? You also can't swing it. So again, this is for scalpers. If you're going to do this sort of thing, you might as well do futures, to be honest. But I mean, yeah, you got to be flat for Fridays. You got a maximum open lots. Have a maximum number of open lots equal to 1/100th the size of their 1/10th, 10,000th the size of their account. A stop loss is required for each trade as well. Right, there's your catch. There's always one somewhere. Not catch, but there's your floor. You've got a 1 to 20 leverage. So first of all, you probably will struggle to get high lot positions on. So if you want to scalp, they're not going to let you take necessarily large lot sizing, which will probably scupper you. You need to do this. It needs to be tested. See what the maximum is. I don't know how to calculate that, to be honest. 1/10,000th of the size of the account. Maximum number of open lots is equal to 1/10,000th. So on a 100K account, that means you can only have 10 lots open. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, I just traded 9 lots there on one entry. I'm trading 15 lots on the DAX at the moment. So this is only on a 50K account. And I'm not over leveraged. I'm risking $200 a trade. So all I can say is try it and see what happens. They got a demo. No. How'd you get the rest of your profit then? I reckon you got to be consistent for 3 months or something, or it's an add-on, they said, isn't it? Don't know. Check them out. They might be good. Worth a shot. Worth having a look at. Kajin, 125 ADR. Okay, so we hit 125. So let's see if we get that push back now on the CAD yen. If we get a nice bullish engulfing or a 3-bar reversal there, depending how quickly it happens, it's 3 o'clock. So probably be an after lunch move on that, after the New York lunch. I think that might be a good opportunity for a long there. That's very, very extended. See how we get on with that one. So yeah, sorry, I was going through all these, wasn't I? Euro Swiss massively extended. Took a short on that one this morning. I'm out, but that was nicely extended this morning, so I got in and out. Euro yen we've looked at. Pound yen we've looked at. Pound New Zealand is also extended on the hourly. So again, we're up at these highs. Pound New Zealand is a big sell. So to me, this is a good area to be getting in short. We're above yesterday's high. It's literally not going anywhere at the moment. And all we're doing is consistently taking liquidity out. So that's the sort of move I'd be looking to capture on it. Half an ADR or something down as a sort of scalp, really. But overall, it's a short. We've got a strong New Zealand dollar at the moment. We've got a very weak pound. You can see, obviously, we're just grinding down. Those channel traders will be, chucking channels on here going, this is a short. This is where they'll all be shorting it. So, it looks technically textbook like a pretty good short, doesn't it? Kenfolk, Surge Trader actually gives you live funds to trade with, apparently, unlike My Forex Funds and FTMO. The trouble is, there is no way to tell with whether it's live or not. That positive news didn't move the US higher. No, it's not really positive news. It's 500 odd people chosen at random and asked whether or not they've had enough money to buy a fry up this morning or not. Sort of questions. It's not really I've never understood why they pay any attention to it, the markets, but they do. It's like saying, they're asking what's your thoughts on how everything's going, and what does it matter what my thoughts are? I'm not in charge of the Fed. Who cares whether I feel happy or sad at the moment? If you ask that question in the UK, everybody would be negative constantly. Our prices are going up, the NHS is falling apart, everything's going wrong. We've had a million leaders trying to run the country badly in the last year. You don't want to ask this in the UK at the moment, but what's that got to do with anything? Then I'm not in control of the funds, am I? I've never really understood the sentiment thing, but anyway. So yeah, pound New Zealand looks pretty good for a short. We're nicely extended on the hourly. Might take that actually. Quite like it. I got into this, didn't I, previously, and I'm gonna have a go at that. I'm gonna have a go at that. Not on that account, I won't. Where I want to pound New Zealand. So I'm gonna go short. I just want to change the thing again. So I keep. Where's my dashboard settings gone? There we are. Width. See. Right. So going short. I'm just going to go 10, 11 on this because I can't remember what magic numbers I used. 0.25% over half an ADR. Okay, so I'm taking the next reversal alert short on M5 on pound New Zealand. Just going to quickly screen grab that and post it in the group. Struggling these indices today. It was a nice trend day. I think our nice trend day. I think this is the nice trend day today. I really do. Off the back of that US dollar strength, just not really getting anywhere at the moment, are we? I've stopped out on those. Probably all break evens, are they? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, everything else on here is yen based, apart from that pound New Zealand. So I've covered all these already. So all these yens are so unbelievably exhausted at the minute and down so hard. This is a lovely area on New Zealand dollar yen as well. Good potential opportunity, 100, 125 ADR for a pullback. We've done nothing today but collapse after having a massive ADR push yesterday. So second ADR in a row on this. If you look at the daily charts on these yens, I mean they're huge. So into that sort of movement, we're going to need to pull back into this at some point. So it's good level, I think, to start thinking about it. And obviously, if we do get some kind of strong intervention from the yen, you're going to need to get out on that sort of movement. So this is, these are just scalp trades, not long term at all, just scalp. hence me wanting to get out of this one today that I'm in. EA has just taken a long for me, so I've got the EA set up also to get me in on M5 reversals. So I've just got in long there. So don't need much to get out now, just somewhere up in here. Big wicks on both sides, but still moving up, Naz. Yeah. It's going without me now because it stopped me out, but we could get a rotation day today, of course. I don't know, but it's gone without me. So I'm running as well on this one. I was running the 15, wasn't I? Which is there, the 15 to 30, which is there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm off now, off the train. I'm still on the train there. Obviously, the DAX moves a lot slower, so. So much for me getting myself organised this year. So far, I've been the most unorganised I've ever been in the world. Any W's so far? What do you mean by W's? No, I don't trade crypto. Kua. There's a W there. There's a W there. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's M's and W's. It's all you need to know. Oh, W's wins. No, not today. No, not today. Having a mare today. I built an EA to test this. On his name again. Why do I have a problem remembering his name? Oh my God. Not Larry Williams. All it ever pops his way is Larry Williams. I like Larry Williams. Oh my. Oh, come on, someone help. Candlestick man with glasses. Old bloke. I'm going to have to look him up again. That's it, Al Brooks. Well done. Yeah. So I've been testing Al Brooks's 1.5 hour range and combining it with well, I'm not combining it with that new blokes thing. What I'm actually combining it with is a percentage of opening range spread. But testing a strategy based on that and just looking for an edge to combine with the opening range breakout, because obviously what we get is either this, a rotation, or we get this, which is a range breakout. So I'm looking for a mean reversion strategy to pair with the opening range breakout to help with intraday stuff. And obviously this is beautiful when it works. So I've been testing this basically this morning. I just built an EA quickly to do it. And it worked pretty well a lot of the time. There's a beautiful example. Yeah. So this is the 1.5 hour opening range. So either the high or the low of the day is in. So we push up within, I've got this set, I think, to 10 or 15% of the opening range. It's 361 and this is 54. So this is 15%. So this is 15% of the opening range. So I'm basically saying I want to get in around 15% of the opening range and stop out if we break. So you can see here, it takes a lovely little short. We push down, we get into a long, we stop out, we get into a long, we stop out, we get into a long. that works well. We push up, we get into a short, that works well. So it works really, really well for mean reversion. But I'm working on strategies with it. These don't work. If the range is too tight, it doesn't work. This is Asia. I'm testing Asia as well. I'm testing Asia, testing Frankfurt, and I'm testing New York. See how it performs. So I'll let you know on this. This is something I'm just playing with at the moment, but it's got a lot of promise. A lot of 10 to 1 trades as well. A lot of 10 to 1s. Like that one. Actually, that looks like about a 6. 8, what's that? 80? 500, yeah, it's about 6 to 1. Yeah. But it's quite surprising how well Al Brooks's 1.5 hour holds. Look, yeah. Got all these entries. It's really good. Some days, but it's the same as anything. It's really good some days. Some days it's terrible. Look at that buy. And it's all off of the theory that at this point, either the high or the low of the day is in. And in this case, the low of the day was in. Really good. But anyway, that's something for another day when I've figured it out. Just chopping on the DAX at the moment. Will Smith called. He said he's getting wiki with it. Very good. He is getting wiki with it, isn't he? He's getting so wiki with it, I'm going to put break-even stops on everything. I don't like it at all. I really don't. I can't. You look at the DAX, I really cannot see the DAX making another day. Yeah. It needs a rest. It's got to have a bit of a rest. And look, I mean, 5 days up on the US indices on the trot, pretty much. They need a rest as well. We're getting an inside bar today, so yeah, I can't call this long today. We are running out of gas. Nasdaq's running out of gas as well. But you know, this is the danger of sentiment. You know, if you have a bias or you have a sentiment, you know, I don't want to long this today. I'm long it because the EA is taking me long. If this thing screams out the highs today and puts in a 300%, I'm totally and utterly wrong. But do I care? No. But you know, there's certain days where you just think that's pushing it. But then, you know, these are the days when you look at things like the Swiss yen and go, that's unbelievable as well. You know, that is unbelievable. Don't see that ever, do you? But you know, people yesterday, after that strong push down, saw this going down, and people were longing the crap out of this all day yesterday and getting absolutely killed. And it's exactly the same with the indices. They will do the same thing to you. You can short the crap out of them as much as you like while they're going up, but the market is irrational. You go with the way the market's going. A strat condition, 4-hour candle close with the previous 4-hour candle. Mark the high low of the 4-hour candle. The next 4-hour candle creates the false breakout, then aggressively trades to the other side. If you say so. I think you're in the wrong group, Ken. You're talking about bubbles and stuff, and you're talking about the strat. I don't trade the strat. And I don't trade bubbles. I think you either go and watch the Bootcamp and become a position trader or scalp opening range breakouts, or not really the channel for you because you seem to be trading completely different things. Which is fine. Trade what you like. I just don't trade that, whatever that is. Again, the strat, you know, I don't have anything against the guy that invented the strat. But it is, again, I keep saying the same thing. all he's done is regurgitate something else that is in existence, which has been created by Larry Williams many, many years ago. Larry Williams is really the godfather of everything. Yeah. And, you know, like I say, with the opening range breakout, and that's part of the strat, isn't it? You know, there are only three things that will happen in a day: an outside bar, an inside bar, or a trend bar. Yeah. That's not new. That isn't something that's been known for a long time. It's not really, you know, it's a scientific fact. And the strat revolves around that, which is fine. But all it is price action. Higher high, higher low. It's market structure. Outside bars, inside bars, price action, candlestick patterns, market structure. Call it the strat if you want. It's the same thing as everything else. Going up and down. The fact that something has done an outside bar. So which one are you looking at? 4-hour candle close. I don't know what instrument you're talking about, Ken. 4-hour close is within the previous 4-hour candle. Yeah, so that's called an inside bar. Mark the high and low of the 4-hour candle. The next 4-hour creates the false breakout, then aggressively trades to the other side. Right, so what you're saying is, if you get a 4-hour candle and you get a 4-hour candle, which is an inside bar, you mark the high and the low of the 4-hour candle, and then it will move outside of it and then aggressively trade to the opposite side. That's called a false breakout. Yeah, we know that. So all that is actually, and again, I keep saying this, it's the same thing as everything else. It's called a resistance. Yeah. Support, the entire world, everything goes back to the same thing: support and resistance. Price action, candlestick patterns at support and resistance. PASR. The guy that came up with PASR came up with everything of all of that before we had YouTube. And he learned everything he knows from a disciple of Larry Williams. So did ICT, so did everybody else. It's all the same. Market structure, inside bar. We know Al Brooks is the godfather. What does Al Brooks constantly go on about? Inside bars, outside bars. Al Brooks came up with those before anybody. Yeah. I know the strat. I knew the strat decades ago, before the guy that invented the strat went viral on YouTube with the strat, because it's all it is candlestick patterns. Trade them as you wish. But what he's saying, what he's doing is stating the obvious. Yeah. So if you have an inside bar, you've got a 50-50 shot of either that happening, which is what you just described, a false breakout, aggressive move to the other side, or a breakout continuation. So what do you have? You have an opportunity when you get an inside bar to either play a mean reversion trade, a breakout trend trade. Yes. Get where I'm coming from? There's only three things in the world that can happen. You can take a breakout, you can take a mean reversion, or you can take a trend. And you can have an inside bar, an outside bar, a bull bar, and a bear bar. It's all stating the obvious and bringing it back down to very simple things. But at the end of the day, the fact that you've had an outside bar with an inside bar gives you the same advantage as everybody else, because you still have no clue which way that thing's going. When it pushes out the top of there, you've got a 50% chance of it going up or down. So you get in, you press a button, you put a stop in, and you hope it goes your way. If it doesn't, you get out with a risk. That's trading. Doesn't matter how you get in. I keep proving this point, don't I? Because I keep saying to people, you know, I'll go into any pair. You pick a pair, a time frame, and a direction. I'll press the button and guarantee you I will either make money or lose money, because that's all that can happen. Overcomplicated. Okay, right. Now, this is where I was this morning, sitting with a nice $500 of profit in my account. Do I take it this time? I am getting massive deja vu. This is a triple top. Last time I did this, I moved to break even and lost $600. Oh, I hate days like. Some people will call that resistance. An unmitigated bearish order block. Yeah, call it what you like. It's an area the price has been to before, which will either bounce or not, Luke, as you say. Yeah. It works pretty well. I know it does, Ken. It's been working for... The Japanese invented candlesticks thousands of years ago. It's been working since then. It's just literally support everything you ever look at anywhere in any course. It all comes down to the same thing: support and resistance. You can rename it supply and demand if you want to, but I will show you what it is and I'll use it in strat terms. Okay, let me just find a quick strat entry for you. There we go. There's one. That's not a good example. Let's use that one. Well, I'm not having a go at you, obviously. I'm not. I'm just labouring the point, which I labour all the time in here. But okay, so we've got an outside bar there. I want to use an inside bar. I want to try and find one that's an inside bar on the last candle on 4. Not quite an outside bar, inside bar. Not going to find an inside bar today, have we? Because we've had quite a bit of movement. Let's use this as an example, right? So let's say this is a closed candle, right? So there's a candle. This is an inside bar. What we're saying now is we're going to drop down on our inside bar on our lower time frame, whatever that may be. And what we're going to do is we're going to, this is our inside bar here. What we're going to do is when it breaks out to the highs there, it's going to do one of two things. One of three things. One of two things. It can't do one of three things. It can only do one of two things now. It can either become an outside bar of our inside bar, or it can become a bull bar or a bear bar. It cannot be an inside bar. Why? Because it's broken out of our previous inside bar. The fact that it moves up to there, right, does not give you any edge whatsoever, because one of two things can happen. We can have a bull bar, or we can now become an outside bar. So right here, you have exactly the same odds as here. It can go that way or that way, can't it? Now, if it goes that way, all you have, if you take a short when we break out the top of an inside bar, all you have is a target. And that target is either is going to be an outside bar, which means it's going to come down to here. So there's your target somewhere around there, or you can target a double bottom. But your odds of the trade working are the same. And this is why I say, forget everything that is complex in this industry. Resistance, support. Or if you only ever hit the button when you're here or here, you will win. If you can do it. A dog with 2 legs can still bite. Yeah, of course it can. What's that got to do with trading? But you know, it's all the same stuff. At the end of the day, it's support and resistance. When you draw a line on your chart at the top of a bar, whether it be an inside bar, an outside bar, or any kind of bar, what you're drawing is literally support and resistance, right? Weeklies are amazing. This is an amazing example on the weeklies. Yeah. So we've got an inside bar. There's a bar. There's an inside bar on the weekly. That week, when you were trading, what happened was it went all the way up there and came all the way down there and then broke out. So what do you do now we've broken out of this inside bar? Which way do you trade? Because you still don't know whether this bar is going to close as an outside bar or it's going to become a bear bar. it doesn't give you any advantage, you see. But I understand there are lots of ways to trade it on lower time frames. But again, I can't find anybody online that's ever made money with it, because all they're doing is taking support and resistance trades with a stop and a reward. That's it. It's the same thing as me not using it. So, you know, when you get an inside bar, what I would do on an inside bar is I would draw that high, sorry, and that low on the inside bar. And I would also draw on that 4-hour one, the outside bar. This is a weekly, but that outside bar. So you've got lots of support and resistance there. So now you drop down into your lower time frame and you just wait until you get up to these areas and you take trades at them. Because 80% of the time the market does this. And then it breaks out into a trend. And then you buy every pullback until the pullbacks fail. And then you go into a range again. So it's just all, it's very, very simple. It's just everything's very overcomplicated, and market structure is the only thing that's sort of consistent everywhere. But anyway, I don't, you know, a lot of people follow that strat thing. I don't have a problem with it. It's good. It's great. If it gives you something to focus on, that's all you need, is a focus on a strategy. Just stick to a strategy, any one. Watching ORB so many times, we get some high, low, high whipsaws, and it doesn't break until 20 to 25 minutes after the open. But then I'm out with 2 to 3 losses. Yeah, that's what that thing that I was looking at is designed for. Diamond is to pair it with a mean reversion strategy. And one of the other guys in the group, Shola, he was talking about this as well. And if you just use the 15-minute, here we go. I don't listen to myself. Bear with me one sec. I'm going to set manual trails on these, I think. Oh, it's on the DAX. Oh, sorry. I'm mucking about with the wrong one. I was just trying to be clever and do it with the EA. It's much easier just do it manually. Trouble is, I don't know which of these are which stops now. I just need to pull these, do this manually in here. Buys. I'm just going to trail these. It's just a double top again. It's this history repeating itself from this morning. If we're going to have a rotation day, this is just going to come back down. So I don't want to. I'm happy to get out with $300 odd. So on this particular day, yeah, one of the guys, Shola, was saying about it, the opening range breakouts and using the 5, 10, 15 minute, getting chopped around too much and hitting max losses by the time the market actually does that breakout. So the answer to it is take the 5, take the 15, and then possibly take the 30. And that's what I've got set up on the NAS at the moment as a test. So this is trading the 5-minute opening range, which is there. It's trading the 15-minute opening range, which is there. And it's trading the 15 to 30-minute opening range, which is there. And what you will find is you get a much bigger spread. If we're moving bullish for the day at the start, you get your trades spread out, which mitigates the risk at one level and it scales you in slower. If that breakout there fails, it quite often will fly out the bottom And that's when it goes, which is, as you say, that 15, 30 minutes into the session, 25, 30, 40 minutes into the session. And then you get in with a decent move to the downside. So this is what I'm testing. The other thing about this is, which is good, is you've got the 5, the 10, and the 15. The 5, the 15, and the 15.30. When you get that breakout fast and hard, and it goes really quick at the open, your 15 to 30 range is up here. And quite often you'll find that happens at a double top. And then you get that reversal. So if it pulls back, you actually get in short there. So I really like this as an idea for using 3 different time periods, but slowing the whole thing down. Everything I've tested in the past, which has worked really well, and it still works really well, is the 5, 10, 15. But that only works on breakout days. On rotation days, it really struggles. So I'm trying to find something that's a little bit of a mix, and this looks really good at the moment. But I'm also double exposing myself as well at the moment because I'm trading both on the same account, which is not good. Whole lot of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of, yeah. Pip, you said bank. Yeah, well done. You were right. I should have banked. I don't know yet. Hang on, let's wait. 2 massive bull candles, and I'm absolutely laughing. If I can get myself back to a sort of $300 to $400 loss today, I'll be happy. But I think that's a push. I think I might be looking at a $1,200, $1,500 loss today, unfortunately. But that's all right. $500 is someone's check for the week. Isaiah, I totally agree with you. And if this was one of my funded accounts, which I've already traded and shut this morning, if this was one of my funded accounts, I would close it. But it's not. It's an evaluation. So I'm not trading it because it's not real, is it? It's a game at the moment. It's not real money until it's funded. So my care levels are less. It's going to cost me $500 to reset. Well, it's not. It's going to cost me $330 to reset it. I can make that in a trade. It's not a problem. It's only a problem psychologically. Not psychologically even. It's only a problem psychologically if you're not aware of it. I'm 100% aware of what I'm doing, which is milking it for the win. This is what I say. What you've got to do with these evaluations is aggressively pass them and then reduce your risk so that it doesn't matter. You don't care. Do you use 100K accounts? So I use 50s and 100s, yeah. This is a 50, this one. This one's 100. Buffalo in the mist. Can't see where it's going. Brian, I need a pint. Yeah, it's one of those days today. It's Friday. Fridays are either dead or trend. This is the trouble is with at the moment the market is in total chaos and fallout, isn't it? We've got the yen screaming like it's never screamed before. We've got the US dollar spinning around in circles, really not having a clue which way it's going, getting dizzy, and everything else is just going sideways. Gold's going parabolic, is it? Ken just said gold's going parabolic. It's going up. I wouldn't call that parabolic, but yeah, it's certainly going up, which means US dollar's coming down. So again, everything's schizophrenic at the moment. Look at this. It's an ADR hit. I'm having enough. I've had enough. It's just, this is the most frustrating January I've ever traded through. And the problem is, I think what we're experiencing this year is something that we've never experienced, which is we had, the chart actually says it all. If you look at the S&P explains the problem at the moment. This is what we're used to as traders. Normality is the S&P rising, having a quick pullback and rising, having a bit of a pullback and rising, having a pullback and rising, having a pullback and rising. Then COVID hit. everything went chaotic, and then we went, actually, it's not that bad. We know what we're going to do. Everything's fine. All these companies that are losing billions of dollars are all having stock prices go up. Oh dear, we've buggered the economy. Right, what do we do now? Chaos. And since that point, the entire last year, we were in chaos because we have never experienced interest rate rises like we've experienced at the moment for decades. No one's traded through this at the moment. And I think a lot of the institutions as well are sitting there really not having much of a clue what the hell to do. You get a bit of news come out, which is massively positive. The market collapses and they all go the other way and they go, right, okay, fine. Let's scale out of that and flip to the other side. And then all of a sudden a bit of news comes out, which is negative, and it goes absolutely flying. You know, it's just all utter chaos at the moment. So the only thing you can really do is try and jump in on the smallest possible moves on lower time frames and just try and grab what you can. And I'm struggling to adjust to that sort of mindset. And I was towards the end of last year as well, which is why I started scalping last year again, which I haven't done for a long time, because long-term plays are just chaotic at the moment because there is no long-term directional bias. And it's all being driven by who is making themselves more attractive. It's like a little beauty parade. You've got all the currencies standing in a line at the moment. And like at the moment, the yen's going, yoo, and like taking a dress off its shoulder, and everyone's going, oh, I like the yen. And then the yen goes absolutely mental. And goes boom. And then the US dollar goes, don't forget about me, and does the same thing. And then all of a sudden that pumps. And all you end up with is that. There is no direction because everybody, and this is the problem, everybody is increasing their interest rates. Everybody's inflation is going through the roof. Everybody's GDP is going down. Everybody's unemployment is suffering. There is nobody that looks attractive at the moment. So the market is just like that. And we just don't have a direction in anything. You know, it's like these guys are going to get up to 5.25 in the next 3 months. Then they're going to stop. We know they're going to stop. So it all depends on what these guys do as to which of them then starts to beat the US dollar down. There is no doubt about it. That's going to happen. But when? And every single month at a different time of the month, one of these becomes powerful. So we then flip. By the time we've actually got something started, it goes the other way because these guys then flip back the other way. And this is why we're finding it so hard at the moment on longer time frames. As I say, you know, 4-hour daily time frames are just becoming chaotic, or they're becoming huge squeezes, which is why I built this to give me some indication of, right, I really, really don't want to be taking this one. And the Aussie dollar really hammered that home last year. You know, that Aussie dollar move, you know, was, boom, you know, you don't get moves like that very often after such an amazing thing. Something huge changes, and it's all interest rate driven. New Zealand dollar had literally, I remember the week it happened, we had news after news after news from New Zealand dollar, which was like positive, 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 positive. All of a sudden, inflation dropped. They increased interest rates by more than expected, and it all went like bang. And at exactly the same time, the Aussie had the opposite happening to it. Chaos. You've got to know about this chaos, and it's just so hard at the moment on any decent time frame where you normally make your money. But them's the breaks, as they say. In a minute. I don't believe I've ever seen Lee trade gold. No, I don't trade gold. I did trade gold day before yesterday. I traded it. Only for fun, though. It wasn't a real trade. It was a real trade. It was, but I just to, again, I was demonstrating the same point as I was talking about earlier. It doesn't really matter. We saw a double top, didn't we? And on gold, and I just said, I'll hit the sell button there. I've got a 50-50 shot of it working, and it worked. But I also had a 50-50 shot of losing. Odds are the same every time you press that button. Gold, ADR, there you go. So potentially a good short there. 5 minute extended. Hourly is not quite there. 15 minutes also extended. 4 hour, very nicely extended. But again, this is all based on just US dollar weakness. Yeah, US dollar's coming down. That's why gold's going up. No other reason. Amazing that you've realized that and have started scalping. Yeah, I used to be a scalper. I became a break-even trader trading M5 sawtooth patterns on this moving average combination. So I would basically wait for a sawtooth to form, and I would just buy every dip. There weren't any dips there, but I would have bought that one. Actually, I wouldn't have bought that one because it was too far away. But Euro US dollar is a very good example of the sawtooth in play last year. So as soon as the sawtooth forms, you start shorting it, and you just literally just keep shorting it. And I keep shorting it and 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 shorting it until I lose. And then I start longing it and longing it and longing it and longing it and longing it. But I used to do that on M5 intraday in the London session. That's how I kind of wandered into market structure. Just short Euro US dollar. I wouldn't short Euro US dollar now with the US dollar collapsing. Out of the DAX. Should have stayed in that NASDAQ, shouldn't I? Well, I didn't. I got stopped out, so nah. I got break even stopped. Not the end of the world. So yeah, we just got flip-flopped today, unfortunately. We didn't get our trend day, but never mind. This is a good example of that new, that strategy I was talking about with the hourly. If we put it on there today, just going to stick the EA on here on another chart. Not on that one, on this one. So let's use the DAX as an example. M5. $1. I'm not actually trading with it, but so we are in. We're not quite there yet, actually. So the 1 hour is going to be in a minute, yeah. So your 1 hour, 1.5 hour rather high is going to be there. Your 1.5 hour low is going to be there. There. No, it's not. It's there. Sorry. Okay. So that's your L Brooks high-low of the day in. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a percentage of that. Rather, the other strategy uses these areas, but I find this very erratic. There's no reason for that level that I can see that is any beneficiary, and there's a lot more reasons for using a percentage because you can adjust it and you can fine tune it. But so if we come up and retest anywhere in this sort of area in the next sort of, how long we got? 10 minutes. That would be a short, assuming that the high of the day is in. And the reason I would use the high of the day today instead of the low of the day is because of the resistance. So I fancy it for shorts today. Brian, getting it handed to you. Yeah. Euro US dollar is a tricky one today. Everything US dollar is a tricky one. I mean, look at this. This paints the picture of this month, doesn't it? And it's all like gold. And the reason I don't trade gold is because gold does things like that on a regular basis, and that's the reason I don't trade it. And even the dollar at the moment is doing things like that, isn't it? If you look at this month so far, what have we had really since we came back? Yeah, we've had a news event undone by a news event, right? All positive. We've had a positive news event, and then a negative news event, which the PMIs never outweigh these news events, and a complete collapse, which all happened within 3 hours. So if you didn't get on that, you had no opportunities really to go there because we haven't gone anywhere. If you didn't get on that 3-hour move, all you've done all week is this. And whether you went long or short this week, yesterday they liquidated you. And now we're back to where we were yesterday. So this is what's frustrating about January so far, is we have had no movement on anything but yen or Swiss franc because of that blow up. But every move we've had has been parabolic with absolutely no follow through. Parabolic, 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 parabolic. Unless you happen to be in the market in the right direction on one of those three moves, you haven't made money this month. Unless you are down on M5, in which case it really doesn't matter what you think about higher timeframes because they've got nothing to do with the M5 timeframe. It's chopped. You know, it's just a hideous beast so far this year. And most of the instruments you look at are the same. Look, parabolic, 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 parabolic. There's no structure in anything. There's no movement, no flow at all in the market at the moment. This week, the only people that have made money this week have been mean reversion traders that have been trading a range. Unfortunately, by the time you discovered it's a range, you're now getting to the point where we're starting to break out. You missed the range, so you haven't made money there either. It's just a horrible, horrible, horrible market. Parabolic, parabolic, parabolic. It's just crap, isn't it? Apart from the yen. And that's the one thing I'm on the wrong side of at the moment, which is Sod's Law. You know, it's just horrible. It makes me want to go on holiday for January. Normally Januaries are pretty good because you've had a quiet December, but December this year was nuts, wasn't it? It all moved December. You know, like if you weren't on that, unlucky. Yeah, if you didn't happen to have a short position, if you had a short position there or there, you got liquidated before the move. But the mean reversions worked. So, you know, this is what I mean. Support and resistance is really absolute God at the moment. It's just trying to find it. So, you know, things like CAD yen, you're never going to hit it, obviously. But if this breaks above there now, stop under there, this is the sort of stuff I think at the moment we need to be trading and forgetting everything else. US dollar is not tricky right now. Short it no matter what. Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you at the moment. You know, but this is why I'm interested to see what the COT report says this week. I want to see if they're scaling out of this. And flipping. But you know, the fundamentals for the US dollar are still a lot stronger. This is the problem. The fundamentals right now are still stronger for the US dollar than pretty much everybody out there. But it's that whole slowdown thing we're getting now, where we're grinding to a halt because we're getting to our maximum velocity with the interest rates. But the really interesting thing, and this is what again is potentially going to screw us this year, is if we get to the 5.25 and that thing does not come down to 5%, they're going to want to do more. And that's really going to screw us as well. I don't think at the moment there's any argument for anything. So as far as I'm concerned, 4-hour RSIs are God That's the only thing really I want to be looking at, or 5 minute and just getting in and crossing my fingers and holding on tight. And yet it moves. Yeah, it's just nuts. US dollars, just a crazy beast at the moment. There is lots of opportunity on US dollar. You know, you can in intraday, if you look at it on an intraday basis, there's been some beauties, isn't there? I mean, today is a lovely move. If you'd have just hit the short button, you know, in hindsight on US dollar yen, you'd have had a lovely day. US dollar Swiss, but you know, look at London, and here it is just chop again. Resistance bounce. We're coming down to now support. Long it. It's so difficult to trade in this. All of this. This is all we're getting. Chop, 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 chop. It's the wrong time of year to be testing an opening range breakout EA, isn't it? In hindsight, I'm a master trader. Everybody's a master trader in hindsight, which is why all the courses look so good on paper. And every time you hit the button, it goes wrong. Best thing to do is to get in, hit the button, get this tool here, and basically hit the button, get in, experience it, watch it. Do I really want to be short in the S&P there? It's not bad, is it? That's a whacking great stop, though. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's at an area we broke out of. We're finding sellers, short it. Over analysis at the moment is just going to kill everybody. You just need to get in and hope that when you get in, you've got the right idea. And at the moment, it's all support and resistance because it's directionless. In a directionless market, which has got an uneven range like that, getting in somewhere around there and somewhere around there is always going to have a much higher than 50% chance of working, because that is what it's doing. Yeah. It's just doing the ranges at the moment. You know, longing, but you can only do this on small time frames at the minute. You know, the higher time frames are very, very wicky. You know, there's no movement because everything's moving so fast and so hard, and so you know the movements within the hour are big, aren't they? Across the board, they're big, which makes it very difficult to trade an hourly chart because all you're doing is this. Look at pound New Zealand. Try and find an entry on pound New Zealand this week on the hourly chart. It's just chaos, just total chaos. There's no candlestick pattern that worked in here. There's a bearish engulfing, stopped out. There's a bearish engulfing, that worked. But then you pulled back to break even and got stopped out. There was a double bottom there. You would have taken that, and all you got was that. Maybe if you'd have held it into the next day, that. But you know, none of this is worth it. Look at the ADR. You're getting half an ADR at a time. It's a scalper's market right now. It really is. Until we get some direction. It's just a nasty, nasty, nasty thing. But it will change. We'll have to change and adapt with it. So this one I'm just closing out today, end of day. So if we can pull back up today, that'd be lovely. Otherwise, I'm closing this end of day today and just getting out with whatever I get given, which at the moment looks like a loss. That was far too big a position. So what I should have had on there was last candle. So my stop was positioned here. or just a pip stop, so like a 10 pip stop. I have 102 on the Dixie as my next point of interest before I think we see a major move. I haven't got the Dixie, but it's up this upside down basically. With the right lot size, those ADR moves pay. Yeah, exactly, and this is it. But you know, the M5 is danger zone. M5 is just the most dangerous time frame because you are just trading the chop. You know, look at this period here and how many bullish engulfing. You got bearish engulfing there. You got an inside bar break to the upside there. You got a little bit of a shooting star there. Not really any candlestick pattern there at all. Then it just flip-flopped around. You got a lovely big bearish engulfing there, which started to move. But there's so many, you know, this is and that and that. You know, it's people like Trader Tom who's going in at $200 for a pip and things like that. Those are the sorts of people that will make really good money in these sorts of markets because they're literally in and out within minutes. But you could also be in and out within minutes with a loss 5 times and lose 2 grand. So, you know, it's super dangerous, M5, unless you are really, really experienced with it. You know, and even I struggle on M5 a lot of the time and have to walk away because you've got to set yourself a limit to stop trading. Otherwise, you get really badly hurt. But I mean, again, you're scalping 15 seconds. So you are basically just trading random. There is no structure on 15-second timeframes and 1 minute. 1 minute. You are literally just trading algorithmic randomness, which is fine. You know, if you can do it with that, but you know, the market reversal alert indicator will fail you, and you will lose 20 trades in a row and blow the account. Ken, I can guarantee it if you carry on doing that. Backtest it. Backtest it. Stick the market reversal alert EA. Get a demo if you haven't got it. Download it. Stick it on the 1 minute time frame. There is not one setting that makes profit on 1 minute time frame because it's random. You've got more chance of making profit flipping a coin. You've got the same chance of making profit flipping a coin on 1 minute. It's just nuts, you know. And 15 seconds is just you know, it just there is no way to make money in here. Everyone could say, "Oh, look at that lovely reverse alert," right? So you took that short there. You're sitting in drawdown at the moment, nothing but. Because that is not a market structure shift. That is just a 25 contract short instead of a 5 contract short, which means we had a slightly larger movement. That has got nothing to do with direction. Yeah, there is no reason for that to happen there, but randomness. That is a large institution executing an order that is larger than the institution that pushed the button down. But because they executed that order doesn't mean that from there it's going to go anywhere at all. You know, and there is no target on this. You know, look at these propulsion gaps. Mean nothing. A lot of the time, they just mean nothing because it's not propulsion gaps. It's random. Yeah. Anyway, Ken, you carry on doing what you're doing. I hope you're still there in a couple of weeks' time. Just going to play this short out, and then I'm going to disappear because we're not really doing much this afternoon, are we? We're just flip-flopping again, support and resistance. I'm not going to push it today because it's Friday and it's always a bit of a quiet one. Euro US dollar starting to move down. We might see a little bit of strength coming through on the US. What's that CAD doing? So CAD still not found any support down there at the moment. Potentially, though, it is looking like we might be running out of steam. So don't forget Fridays as well. It's end of week. We do get profit take moves like end of week pumps and dumps. So we might get a big profit take move off the back of this as well. So there's a lot of people in a lot of profit short on these, which will want to be getting out by the weekend. Again, RSI overextension on higher time frame. ADR hits, drop to lower time frame for early entry. You know this all too well. I don't know that all too well. That sounds utter rubbish to me. I can't believe you can do it. So what's your higher time frame? Explain to me what the higher time frame is on the 15-second. What is it? The 5 minute? So you're trading you must be trading the 5 minute higher time frame. So what do you take on the higher time frame? You're taking the RSI extension to the downside on the high time frame and then dropping to 15 seconds and taking a reversal alert after RSI is hit, after ADR is hit. So today you've been absolutely destroyed because the only things that have hit the yen are the yens today, and they're all still going down. So you've been totally collapsed and taken longs which have all stopped out. You can't trade the higher time frame 1 hour chart on a 15-second entry. Right, so what you're doing, I'll explain what you're doing, which is, you know what you're doing. What you're doing is you're taking an H1 RSI long, yeah? Whether you take the 15-second, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, or the 15-minute, they're all the same trade. You are literally just trading RSI hourly. Which of these little time frames you enter on has got nothing to do with it? Look, there you got in on M1, right? And on M5, you got in there. On the 15-second chart, which no one in the universe has because no one in the universe trades it, not even the algorithms, you've got in probably around about the same spot. So all you're doing is you're literally taking an H1 RSI extension, which is fine. But today, you took the H1 RSI extension somewhere around there yesterday, and you haven't had an entry today that's made a profit. You've just been destroyed all day. I'm up 3,700 on the day. All right. Yeah, all right, whatever. I can't bother to argue. I was up 2,300 and 1,500 there, and I had a 970 day there, and I'm having blah, 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 but I also have losses. Your $3,700 will disappear into a $25,000 loss chasm at some point because you're trading randomness without structure on 15 seconds. There is no structure. Oh, please don't record and show me. I really don't want to know. I haven't got the time. I don't have enough time to run my own stuff. I can't be bothered to look at 15. I can't. I'll start you off with no one in this room now can trade the 15-second chart because MT4 and MT5 don't support it. So what's the point? Don't even talk to me about it. If it's not an MT4 and MT5, I'm not interested. I can't trade it. I don't want to. 15 seconds. I spent a good year or so pursuing 1 minute trading, a long time actually. And I came to the same conclusion as everyone else, it's red or black. Which is nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a lot of professional gamblers out there. Well, you might be a professional gambler, which is good. You can use 15 seconds on MT4. You can't. Sorry, you can't. There is no time frame on MT4 for 15 seconds. The smallest time frame is 1 minute. You can use offline charts which are created, but no. No. Not in here. Right, CAD-yen, we got some traction starting. So we've got the hourly close in. We are starting to put in, we've had the reversal alert, we're just starting to retest now. So potentially, if we can get above that level, I think we've got a good opportunity for maybe an end of day rally on this. Euro yen is bottoming out, not moving yet on that one. CAD will power up along with the US. So if we get some US dollar strength coming through, that will help as well. That's like a good little entry, but again, beware of the bond auction on, the yen intervention on Monday, which is going to potentially power the yen up again. So if we're going to, this is a scalp trade, need to be in and out today on this one. Ken, I don't want you to show me your stupid system. Go away. Honestly. I can show you how. It will take 5 minutes. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I don't tell you what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Right. So just playing that euro yen out again. I'm going to go flat on that by end of day. So whatever, I'm just going to exit that one. It'll either be an end of day close. So all I'm doing with this is end of day close. So hopefully a little bit of a pullback before end of day to get out of that one. If not, I'll just close that out with a bit of a loss. Bank 250 today on the other trade. So taking it easy today because it's just a chaotic market. I just want to see that US dollar direction. And again, unfortunately today, I don't think I'm going to get it. Again, we've just had a push up and a push down. US dollar Swiss, US dollar yen obviously is coming down on the yen. We've got an inside, not an inside bar, but we are slightly bearish on the US dollar CAD. Euro US dollar, we're painting an inside bar. Pound US dollar, inside bar. So there's just nothing at the moment that's given us any real indication of direction after all the news. So we've had all the news out now on the US dollar that is of any impact whatsoever. So we're just waiting to see where they move it. And I just get the feeling at the moment we need to be thinking slightly sideways towards down with it. So not really giving me any clues. So my plan for next week is to set the market reversal alerts EA up, which I'm probably going to do this evening actually. Just to focus, I'm going to wait until, actually no, I'm going to do it tomorrow after the COT report comes out. So I'm just literally going to focus on these pairs at the minute. And obviously I'm not going to focus on all of them. I'm just going to pick some so that I've got my exposure limited. Just to get the market reversal alert CA on and look at H4 RSI extensions, ADR extensions, which I'll also look at. I'm toying with the idea of looking at the hourlies, but The hourlies, what I'm looking to do is try to grab around about 0.5% a trade. So I think the hourlies are too quick. So I'd rather wait for the 4-hour RSI extensions coming, like pound New Zealand, for example. So that's a good potential entry because it's a short. So pound New Zealand is a short. When we get the reversal on that one, I'll be getting into that one short. So that's what I'm planning to do moving forward. And I'm going to keep my exposure really, really light, and I'm just going to play this account out very slowly, basically, and just see if I can get it over the line within a month with 8%, which is kind of what I normally do. So just going to slow it all down a little bit. I wish YouTube supported GIFs on chat. Yeah. I don't, Ken, you're missing the point, mate. I know it's not even that serious. I just want to show you it's possible. I don't care if it's possible. You're missing the point. I couldn't give a monkey's whether it's possible or not. I just don't care. Yeah. It's like trying to make you sit down and me read a book to you. If you don't want it read to you, fine. I don't want you to show me it's possible. You can do anything in MT4. You can trade offline charts on any particular time period with anything. You can trade Renko's, you can do all sorts of stuff. I know what you can do with MT4. I'm an MT4 developer, Ken. I've been using it for many years, longer than most, I should imagine. I know what's possible. I don't want to know about the 15-second chart, and I don't care because I don't believe in it. It's like you're trying to convert me to a religion I'm not going to follow. All right. It's not that I don't believe you can do it. I know you can do it. I just really not interested. Let's see if we can scalp our way out of this with the S&P, shall we? Highly unlikely to make that, but I might target the lows. So where are we now? 225. Let's go for a, whoops, wrong one. Let's go for a 225 TP on those. So if I can get down to here, I'll be able to scrape back a little bit. Not a lot, actually. Yeah, about $1,000. So if we can get a run on the lows, I'll be able to get $1,000 of that back, which would be nice on this S&P scalp. So that's all this trade literally is. This is not rocket science. Like I say, keep it simple. The reason I shorted this was because this is an area of balance. We've pushed into the area of balance. We've found support. We found resistance in the form of sellers. The buyers have tried to conquer those sellers. The sellers have stepped on and said no at a triple top at an area of balance. Call it what you like. It's balance. It's supply, demand, resistance. Call it what you will. It's an area prices turned in the past. I shorted it at that area. Nothing more complicated. And I'm playing it back down to exactly the same on the opposite side. And that's it. It'll either work or it won't. And I'm going to put a trading stop on it. Don't want to go that far, do I? I'm going to go with a 100. I'm going to I'm going to trail on tick. So I'll either stop out with a little bit of a loss on that, or we'll start to trail this in. That's it. That's all I can see today. Bit of a meh day today. Had a good couple of days. Banked 3.8 the last couple of days, which is good. But this is the frustration with prop, isn't it? The flip flopping drives you mental. Trying to get to a target. My goal is not to make money. My goal is to make $4,000. That's my goal. I'm not trying to. I'm following the 4K. I'm not following anything else. This is why prop drives you mental. Right. Good emoji, Brian. What's that? A one-eyed monster by the looks of things. I can't really see that. My old eyes. Right, I'll leave you there. CAD Swiss. We've just had an ADR on CAD Swiss before I go. Again, please don't drop down to M1 and try and, or M15 and try and scalp this. The Swiss franc is making up for lost time. So RSI. Oh, it's, Brian wouldn't. Ken, you won't be in this one, will you? Because RSI on the hourly is not extended, because that really is well related to M15. Sorry, M15. It's not even M15. It's S15, isn't it? Got nothing to do with it. Right. I'll stop rabbiting on. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'll be back on Euro Swiss as well. God, why did I get out of that? Shouldn't have got out of that Euro Swiss, should I? Have a good weekend. I'll be back on Monday at 7:50, ready for the DAX session. We'll see what's happened with COT. So we'll have a good look at the fundamentals over the weekend, see what impact COT has had over the last week, and then get ready for next week, really. Much more of the same. I'm just going to be focusing, though, on 4-hour RSI extensions predominantly, I think, now. Just trying to keep it a little bit safe in these conditions and then scalping the hell out of it. So we will see how we do. And I want to get one of these props over the line this month. Failing dramatically this week, but hey, we've had some serious news, haven't we? So, right, have a good one. Anybody needs anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. Yeah, hopefully I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.